When you have genetics that are working properly and those genes are working at 100%, your rods and cones are being produced at a normal rate, you usually have really good eyesight. But if a person has recessive genes, if they have recessive genes in those areas of the rod and cone productions, you would have to take supplementation. Minerals and vitamins and even certain herbs help with the production of all the rods and cones to help you see well. Hey friends, Dr. Motley here with the Ancient Health Podcast. And today we're going to talk about the correlation, the relationship between the function of the gallbladder and your liver and its effect on your eyesight. Can your gallbladder and your liver affect how well you see? And the answer is yes. So if you ever have floaters, you ever see flashing lights in the periphery of your eyes, if you ever have specks, especially when you wake up, if you have small orbs or rings, if you ever have tired eyes or you actually have the eye gook that comes out around your eyes regularly, this can all be associated with those two organs. Have you always had a problem with farsightedness or nearsightedness? And if the answer is yes, you want to make sure that you do not rule out the effect of the gallbladder and liver on this in this area of your body. So can your genetics create a big effect on your eyesight? Definitely. There are certain genes out there that are responsible for the formation of the rods and the cones. Small mechanisms, apparatuses in your eyes allow you to trap and filter light, like the red, green, and blue light, and allows you to transmit those signals to your brain to actually filter out and to put together color formation. So you can have acuity of vision according to how many rods and cones are in your eyes. Now, when you have genetics that are working properly and those genes are working at 100%, your rods and cones are being produced at a normal rate, you usually have really good eyesight. But if a person has recessive genes, if they have recessive genes in those areas of the rod and cone productions, you would have to take supplementation. Minerals and vitamins and even certain herbs help with the production of all the rods and cones to help you see well. Furthermore, when we think about the nutrients, our eyes are comprised and very heavily dependent on porphyrins. And porphyrins are small compounds that usually are connected to heme. And heme in its basically connection to iron and to certain proteins like globin. So you create hemoglobin. So your genes basically help you put all of these things together to create hemoglobin, which are basically associated with porphyrins, which are necessary for you to have the ability to filter out certain light. And it also helps you to not be sensitive to excessive light. So you start to see how genetics come into play about how well you see. Now, how in the world would a gallbladder or a liver affect your eyesight? Now, the reason we're going to do this podcast is because if you have ever had eye condition, if you ever had eye problems and you've gone to the eye doctor or the optometrist or any practitioner that helps you with your vision, and you have had issues, but you can't get an answer because they do the test, they do all the imaging, and they say there's nothing wrong with your eyes, then this could be something that you could look into to actually help bring acuity to your eyesight. Now, the reason I get into this discussion is because I have many patients that are coming into the clinic and they'll have poor vision and they go to their doctor and nothing seems to be wrong. And the first thing that I usually find out with my estimation and my examination is that they usually have gallbladder and liver congestion. So the gallbladder and liver in Chinese medicine are part of the wood element. And the wood element in our world is part of the springtime. So you have 5 elements. You have the fire, you have the earth, you have the metal, you have the water, and the wood. Springtime has to do with wood, with the growth, with the green, which is the color of bile. And bile is that liquid that your liver produces and stores within the gallbladder, which is a small holding tank. And it is storing that green bile because it helps you with fat metabolism, helps you break down fats in your diet. It also helps you transport estrogens through the colon to be combined with fiber, then to be pooped out. And bile has so many different functions, even with the elimination of certain toxicities, infections, and also it is heavily associated with spleen function, spleen repair, and keeping pressure off the spleen. So it is very important, this green color. Now, when I say all this, how would it be associated with how well you see? So at night, let's first start off with the structural component, and then let's move into maybe some of the things that you could possibly add into your diet or even into your supplementation to help with eyesight. And then let's talk about the components of maybe the emotions and how the emotions can affect your liver and gallbladder and then affect your eyesight. So first of all, at night in the Chinese medicine world, the gallbladder and liver are repairing and receiving the highest amount of qi, the electrical energy within your body. And that life force is actively pushing itself through and around the gallbladder and liver from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. So this is the time frame when those organs are supposed to be healing. They're supposed to be repairing. Why? Because they are doing their metabolic work at that time. The liver is creating bile to be prepared to be put into the gallbladder. So when you wake up from 7 to 9 a.m. in that time frame, your stomach's ready to eat. Your body's preparing that bile liquid to push into your stomach so you can dissolve all the eggs or sausage or bacon, any fats in your diet. Your gallbladder and liver are preparing right now at that time in the evening, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. So you're getting a lot of the qi, the electrical flow through these areas. So blood is trying to be distributed throughout the body, but you'll start to know that the body tries to use balance. It's trying to distribute blood flow to the organs that need it most at that time of night. So the gallbladder and liver do need some blood flow because that's where the blood is starting to pool up, because your body is going to start cleansing the blood in the liver around that time of night. So cleansing, detoxification, building of the bile, repair of those organs. Now, in the Chinese medicine world, there's another thing that's happening. Certain times of night, around that 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., your blood is also being forced to go up to the brain to clean the brain. So there is a moderate amount of blood that's pooling in the liver. Your lymph node is flowing, trying to be basically flowing through the body, even though your body's still. But your body is going to send blood flow heavily up to the brain because at certain times of night, your brain is going to repair. It's trying to get rid of all the toxicities, the pesticides, the heavy metals, the infections that you encountered during the day. Your brain is creating a memory bank of all those things that actually got into the cranium. And so your body will send specialized lymphocytes, lymph cells that are immune cells, up to the brain to actually help the brain detoxify. There's a great book called Why We Sleep, and it talks about certain phases of the night where your body is trying to repair the brain. And as you repair the brain, you're cleansing the brain so your neurological tissue is ready for the next day. So you're pushing all this blood up to the brain. Now, this is an important point. This is for your eyesight. If you remember, in embryology, your eyes are the first organs that form off your brain. They're basically neurological tissue. Remember when you look into an embryo, when you study embryology or biology, and it looks like those two big globs of black, balls right in front of the eye of the brain. And what that is that you have those eyes that are starting to form. And if you study some iridology charts, you realize that neurological tissue, many of the same type of cells that develop the brain develop the eyes. So there's a resonance, there's a frequency that's shared by the eyes and the brain. And so the eyes basically are roadmaps. They're indications of what's going on in the brain. So when the brain is trying to cleanse, the eyes are also trying to cleanse at night. Whenever you help the brain, you help the eyes. So if you are pushing blood and lymphocytes up to the brain and the eyes to cleanse them, you better make sure that enough blood is getting to the eyes. Here's a side note. What happens if you stay awake too late? That's one scenario. What if you basically stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. And that time of night where the blood is supposed to be rushing up to your brain to help repair and release toxins and to cleanse, and also to help with your eyesight, to repair your eyes, is not happening because you're keeping your eyes and your brain in a working manner when it should not be working. You should be resting the eyes and resting the brain so that those specialized lymphocytes and the blood flow can do its work. The extra activity within your eyes by staying up too late by watching TV or watching blue light or playing a video game, even if it's reading at night, is causing your body to burn excess energy, of course, making your brain overwork and your eyes, and you're redistributing blood to help you with staying up late. And so if this is occurring, your eyes and brain are not repairing and healing at the rate it should. And that's why, yes, you could have poor eyesight by staying up too late, because that is the time of night when the brain and the eyes are supposed to heal and get nourished. That's one scenario. The second one is this. If you have excess toxicities in the body, excess infections, if you have any type of things that you fought in the past, like parasites, yeast, strep, staph, Lyme disease, if you've had those type of infections in your life and you know you've had them by blood work or you suspect them, if the liver and gallbladder are inundated with those infections, because remember, the liver is going to try to clean out infections in your body. That's what the liver is trying to do at that time of night. You're going to have a higher amount of blood flow and a higher amount of inflammatory cells and more lymphocytes and more immune cells flowing to the liver and to the gallbladder to help cleanse those infections and those inflammatory agents. Remember, whatever's happening within the liver is also happening within the gallbladder, because any infections such as mold, even parasites, certain types of bacteria have been shown to be lymphophilic, which means they love the fats that are in the bile. So they'll stick around the liver and in the gallbladder. They'll stick to that liquid bile, and they will basically flow with it, and they'll go transfer down to the digestive system, and it'll be recycled in your digestive system back up to the liver. So those infections are very stubborn. They stick around in those organs. And so at night, if those things are stubborn and sticking to those organs, your gallbladder and your liver, and you have all these inflammatory cells trying to clean the liver and help your body cleanse of all the toxins, it will at times pull the blood away from the brain. So you're actually pulling blood that's needed to help repair the brain at that time of night and your eyes. So your liver is then doing what? It's having too much attention, pulling away from the brain and eyesight, and so your eyesight gets worse because there's no repairing mechanism. Remember we talked about the porphyrins? We talked about how hemoglobin helps with porphyrin production. Now, these are specialized compounds that help you with eyesight, to make it simple. Hemoglobin is basically that protein compound that your body produces with the help of B6, vitamin B6, and it is able to help combine with iron and then with oxygen. And this is a major component of the porphyrins, of the constituents of the eyes. Now, two main areas that you're going to find where these type of compounds are created: in the bone marrow and in the liver, i.e. the liver-gallbladder connection, the paired meridians, the paired organs in the Chinese medicine world. So if your liver is congested, if your liver has blood stagnation, if it has any type of electrical qi stagnation, it may not be able to produce porphyrins or hemoglobin at an efficient rate to help you with what? The production of the porphyrins and the compounds for your eyes. So your eyesights then suffer again because the liver is toxic and the gallbladder is toxic. So you have three different things that could be going on. It could be you're not going to sleep early enough, which is a huge problem. You need to read the book Why We Sleep if that's what's happening. So if you're staying up too late, you're robbing your brain and your eyes of the nutrients that are needed to repair. If you have too much infections in those organs, the liver and the gallbladder, you have to clean those out because they will draw the blood away from the brain and the eyes at that particular time of night for repair. And you're also, with that liver toxicity and gallbladder imbalance, keeping your body from producing the actual constituents to help you with proper eyesight. So, yes, we can wear corrective lenses, but if your liver and your gallbladder are consistently toxic, you're not going to be able to have proper vision. And so I have seen individuals with the genetics of genetic makeup that would show that they shouldn't have proper eyesight, but when they take good nutrients to actually help with their eyes, they've actually healed their eyesight very well. So you can look at certain types of berries. You can have bilberry, you can have beta carotene, you can have certain types of xanthins, any type of eye compound complex that you can buy in a supplement. You'll start to see that these types of eye complexes can actually feed nutrients to your eyes. So I like Eyebright. It's a great herb for the development of the eyes. I like CoQ10. I like choline. I like to use different forms of nutrients to help with the function of my eyes. Now, here's a little story. I started to develop problems with vision in my right eye. I went to get a checkup by a retinal doctor, a retinal specialist, and they said I had central serous retinopathy in this right eye. That's why I wear different types of glasses, because the glare, when I had Lyme disease, one of my doctors said, you're going to have to wear tinted glasses because the glare is hard because of the porphyrin and hemoglobin production problems within my eyes. Why? Because certain types of infections like Lyme disease or Lyme or bacteria love to eat proteins within your red blood cells, i.e. hemoglobin. So I was having a problem with light capture, with light reflectivity because of that damage to the hemoglobin within my eyes. So I'd had to wear different types of glasses. Now, central serous retinopathy is where you have small swelling of fluid pockets around the retinal layers. And when they did a viewing of my eye, they found that there was small pinholes. I think that those pinholes probably were from the spirochetes, the Lyme that made their way into those retinal layers. And so I'd have swelling. Now, when this occurred, the doctor was really, really comforting. He was a very kind man. And I asked him, can I use some herbals and some nutrients to actually see if I can make an adjustment? He said, sure thing. He said, but if this is happening within 6 months, I think you should do laser surgery. So I started taking Total Eyebright M. And there's many other good eye formulas. Anything that has good carotenoids. Again, those types of compounds that we talked about, berries are really good for the eyes. Anything that has good vitamin C, even acerola, is really good for the eyes. Now, Total Eyebright M is just an example. And, Dr. McCullough has a really good eye medicine. I used to use one from Epigenetics International, and it's called Smart Eyes. Check that one out. It's a really good one. And what I found was that after I took it, I was taking 2 a day, and it was actually healing my eyesight. When I went back 6 months later, he said it's almost 70% gone. I took it for another 6 months after that, and it said it was completely gone. All the fluid had come out of my eye, and it was back to normal. So the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals, because you need B vitamins, and you need D vitamin and C, and even vitamin E to help with vision. Those helped my eyesight. And I then started taking heavier amounts of fatty omegas, which EFAs, essential fatty acids. So I started taking higher amounts of fish oils for me, and I used Designs for Health, and I also used orthomolecular products. It's called Ortho Omega 820. That's what they call them, the Ortho Omega 820. I was using those in high amounts with the Total Eyebright M, and I was giving my eyes the proper amounts of fats. So when I was giving my eye the proper amounts of fats, I was also trying to make sure that I was cleansing my liver with different types of herbals, such as Schisandra. Schisandra is a great liver cleanser. Dandelion. And I was also using another known as golden thread. Golden thread is Chinese coptis. It's so good for cleansing and healing the gallbladder. I was using these herbs to help push and cleanse out the infections out of my liver and out of my gallbladder. So I was helping the body build the bile. And then when I was taking the omegas, I was actually helping my liver and gallbladder be able to make the bile to help process those fats. Because remember, your eyes are basically made up of fat, and so is your brain. So if we live in a world where we're eating more of the fatty acids that are basically fake, the trans fats, the fake fats, we're eating such preservative foods. And these are the building blocks we give our bodies that go into our liver, and we want our livers to help us produce healthy fats to go to our eyes. What will happen if you don't have the right building blocks to feed your eyes to create good vision? You're not going to have good vision. And so we expect to have high amounts of sugar, high amounts of fake fats, high amounts of preservatives, and high inflammatory foods with pesticides. And if we eat those consistently and challenge our liver to be overinflamed and over-toxified, we will not make any healthy cholesterol to help our eyes form properly. So I realized that I had to reduce most all my sugars. I increased my fatty acids. I took the vitamins and minerals I needed to take, and that helped my eyes. So we need to put that in the show notes. I've got to remind myself that. So that in itself helped my body heal my eyes in a healthy way with relationship to my gallbladder and liver. But remember, I had to clean my gallbladder and liver. So I used Shisandra Supreme by Supreme Nutrition Products and Golden Thread Supreme. Those are just my choices, what I use for myself. I also did high amounts of minerals. I did reactive multi-mineral by Orthomolecular. And so these combinations gave my liver and gallbladder the fuel they needed to detoxify and to flush, and then gave it the power to actually assimilate my fats, feeding my body healthy fats and not preservative foods and high sugars that then could hurt my gallbladder and liver. I wanted to help and accentuate it. I also used bone broth. And bone broth really helped the healing of my gut lining. And this helped me assimilate those even more. And my eyes have been helped so much. I still wear these shades by RA Optics. There's many other ones that I like to use that help with blue light, but also to help with a certain frequency or the light sources that go into my eyes to help repair them. Because we're in a world of radiation. We're in a world of high EMF, not to live in fear, but it's helped my eyesight and keeps me from squinting too much. And so if you guys find yourself going through this, look into RA Optics, look into the nutrients that I suggest in the show notes, and start to see if this helps you with the eyesight. Go back and check with your eye doctor after 6 months of taking these supplements regularly. How will your eyesight do? Now, the other thing is you need to check structurally is upper neck fixations. It is great to go find a chiropractor or a physical therapist or an exercise physiologist that can release the tension around the C1 and C2 vertebra. Now, when you have any type of constriction or misalignment with the C1 and C2, you need to get it realigned and get your occipital bone to be very, very aligned with your upper neck vertebra. And if this occurs, you're going to have proper nerve feed in your brainstem up to your optic centers, which are in the back of the brain. So that in itself will help you with proper blood flow up to the brain, up to the optic centers. Now, with the gallbladder and the liver involved, remember, always get the T4 vertebra and the T8, T9 vertebra. Essentially, I like to go with those three, but even the T4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, get those aligned because they all have to do with liver pumping mechanism. Make sure those areas are aligned. If they keep coming out of alignment, it's because there's a toxicity in the liver and the gallbladder. Again, I love Shisandra and Golden Thread. They're two of my top choices. Another one I like to throw in there is Bodyguard Supreme. It's known as Phyllanthus herb. It's a stone breaker. It cleans a lot of the sludge in gallbladder stones and kidney stones and liver stones. It's been used for ages. Look into that. A dosage of 1 to 2 of those a day on an empty stomach has cleansed so many of the gallstones and kidney stones and liver problems in my clinical life. So these are combinations that actually help cleanse. Now, the gallbladder needs to be able to be mended within the structural work. So doing myofascial release around the gallbladder area, which is right underneath the right rib cage, right near the liver, and doing that type of work, myofascial release underneath the rib cage, getting acupressure or acupuncture on the gallbladder and liver meridian will help tremendously with your eyesight. And getting acupuncture around the eyes. You can even do acupressure around the eyes, just putting your hands around these areas right here to help with your vision. Rub the beginning and ending points. Triple Wilmer 23, gallbladder 1, stomach 1, bladder 1. Do these points every single day. Rub the points out. Massage them for at least a minute on each point on each side, and you will see a difference in your eyes. Take the nutrients, help with the liver cleansing, and also rub and massage the points. Now, the gallbladder, essentially, and the liver in the emotional world have to do with resentment, anger, frustration, hate, gall, stubbornness, being overwhelmed because of too many choices. And it has to do with the identity. If you have been robbed of your identity, you've been robbed of money or love, or you don't feel like you've been able to receive love, it means that you may have lived your life feeling that you did not receive or you were robbed of something. And so your body will work overtime to work hard to meet demands. So your liver and gallbladder will work hard to actually create more bile, to dissolve more fats, to help you with putting that fat into your cells to create more energy. So it's just supply and demand. So your liver and gallbladder are going to work hard to do this. Now, if you ever feel like somebody has been taking and leeching away from you in your life, like, oh man, somebody stole property from me. Somebody stole love from me. Somebody stole my identity by doing something to me or creating trauma. You may work your body to the bone, trying to work hard to fight against something or to run from it. And that will exhaust the gallbladder and liver. All because something or somebody took away your identity, your property, your love, and that then, when it happens consistently, will create anger, rage, and frustration. That's the result. So it's important to find whatever's creating that programming and using acupuncture and acupressure to help alleviate and bring strength to the gallbladder and liver to help bring those emotions to the surface to help you process them. But I really love using neurofeedback. I love neurofeedback therapy. And I also love NET, neuroemotional technique by a good applied kinesiologist. And I love EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping. These help bring the electrical signals of those deep down traumas up to the surface and helps you recognize what they are so you can send them to your prefrontal area to help you process them. Research and find out what has robbed you of your identity. Research if somebody's stolen something from you, taken something from you, and created anger and rage and frustration. And when you find that out, try your best to use these techniques or to process them out through therapy. It can be done. I've seen homeopathics work really well with emotional fatigue. Along with the steps and the structural components of the upper neck and the biochemistry and helping your liver and your brain to heal, you can start seeing your vision get better. You can also do eye exercises. I did eye exercises. There are literally books about how to exercise your eyes because they have muscles within them. And if you give your body the proper nutrients and help with the emotions and start exercising your eyes and doing the rotations where you move your eyes in certain circular formations and using blinking techniques to help your eyes get more acuity, you're going to start seeing that you are going to have better vision. You can. I've seen people that in my office have literally restored their vision near perfect back to 20/20. If you have to get cataract surgery, totally understand. If you have a detached retina, you have to have surgery. Totally get it. But if you have floaters, flashing lights, small flecks, if you start to notice that you have very, very fatigued vision, please give these recommendations a try. It's not just old age. It's a tired gallbladder, a tired liver, and emotions involved. So guys, I hope this helps. I want you to check out the show notes and let me know what you think. If you like this episode and the content to actually help you with your vision, please like and subscribe. Give us some comments. Let us know if this is something that you enjoy and we want to be able to keep producing this type of content for you. Until the next time, I'm Dr. Motley with the Ancient Health Podcast. Have a blessed day and let's improve that eyesight.